Hey everyone. Today, we're diving into a story that I think is going to hit home for a lot of you. It's a story about the pressure we all feel to be great right now, and the simple truth that holds the real secret to success. We all want it, right? Success. We all have these big dreams, these incredible visions of what our lives could be. A better job, a new skill, or maybe just feeling more confident in the new language. You want to change your life, and you want to do it yesterday. But here's the kicker. Most people who set out on this path, they fail. And it's not because they lack the ability. It's not because success is impossible. It's because they've bought into this huge misconception that big results demand big, dramatic actions. They spend their time doing one thing, waiting. They wait for the perfect Monday to start the diet. They wait for the perfect new planner to start organizing their lives. They wait for the perfect 6-week foolproof plan to master English. And while they're waiting for that perfect day, that perfect plan, that perfect opportunity, their dreams just slowly, silently fade away. But what if I told you that you don't need a giant leap? What if I told you that the secret to changing your life isn't about some massive effort, but about a bunch of almost invisible small steps? What if just a 1% improvement each day could actually be the engine that completely changes the trajectory of your entire life? Let me tell you the story of a young man named Ahmed. Ahmed was, by all accounts, an ordinary college student. Maybe you know someone like him. Maybe you are someone like him. He was average in his studies, not failing, but certainly not topping the class. He was average in sports. He was just average in almost everything. And in a world that constantly flashes highlight reels in your face, especially on platforms like YouTube and Instagram, average feels like a death sentence. Every single time Ahmed looked around, every time he compared himself to the people he saw every day, he felt small. His friends, his classmates, they were scoring better on exams. They were speaking English with more natural fluency. And they seemed to walk through life with an effortless confidence he just didn't possess. He desperately wanted to change. He truly did. He'd make these dramatic resolutions, but the sheer burden of becoming perfect overnight was an impossible weight that always crushed him. He'd decide, that's it. This week, I'm going to lock down and study hard. He'd go for a week, maybe even 10 days, putting in 3 or 4 grueling hours every night. But then he'd burn out, get overwhelmed, and give up. He tried to get fit. He signed up for a gym membership full of enthusiasm. He went for 3 days straight, felt incredibly sore and miserable, and quit after 10 days, telling himself he just wasn't built for it. He tried to become an early riser, setting his alarm for 5 a.m., only to hit the snooze button on day 4 and sleep until noon. Every time he failed, the inner voice would get louder. See, I told you, you're just not good enough. You don't have the discipline. And slowly, subtly, he started to believe that this was his destiny, to remain average. One afternoon, feeling particularly defeated, Ahmed was sitting in the courtyard of his family home. He saw his grandfather, a quiet, wise man, doing something a little peculiar. He was carefully polishing an old, dark wooden chair. It was a beautiful piece, but it was old. It had scuffs and marks and had clearly seen decades of use. Ahmed watched for a while, then finally asked, "Grandfather, why do you spend all this time polishing that old chair? Look at it. It's never going to look brand new again." His grandfather paused his work and just smiled, that kind of knowing, gentle smile old people seem to have. He held up a cloth soaked in polish. "Do you see these tiny little strokes of the cloth, my boy?" he asked. "They look so insignificant, don't they? Like they're doing nothing." Ahmed nodded, still confused. "But listen to me," the old man continued, going back to his slow, steady work. "Each stroke is adding shine. It's not a dramatic coat of paint. It's a tiny bit of luster. And slowly, with patience, stroke after stroke, that chair will stop just being old and start to glow again." He looked up at Ahmed, his eyes kind but serious. "Life is exactly like this chair, my child. You don't need to change it all at once. You don't need a giant overhaul. You just need to add a little shine every single day, one stroke at a time. That, Ahmed, is the secret to real, lasting transformation." These simple, quiet words hit Ahmed right in the chest. They were so different from the harsh, demanding expectations he'd set for himself. This wasn't about being perfect. It was about being better. He decided right then and there to test this idea, this 1% rule, in his own life. Instead of immediately aiming for a punishing 3 hours of study time, which always led to burnout, he started with just 15 minutes. Just enough time to get into a small topic without the pressure of having to master the entire textbook. And the rule he set was simple. Every day, he would add only 5 more minutes. Not 30, not an hour, just 5. Instead of forcing himself to run a depressing 5 kilometers, which again led to quitting, he started with 5 push-ups, just 5. And the next day, he added 1 more. Instead of trying to become perfectly fluent in English overnight, he started with a goal he couldn't possibly fail: learning just 5 new words a day. At first, the progress was completely invisible. No one noticed the change in him. When his friends asked him how his study was going, he couldn't point to a major accomplishment. Even he himself felt like nothing much was happening. He'd look in the mirror after a week of 6 push-ups and think, "Is this working?" But then, the amazing thing started to happen. After only 30 days, that initial 15 minutes of study had slowly but surely crept up to nearly 2 hours. His 5 push-ups had compounded into a solid 50. His vocabulary had grown by 150 new, useful words. And most importantly, something deep inside Ahmed started to change. His inner light, his confidence started to shine, just like the old wooden chair. He wasn't just doing more, he was feeling capable. He was building an identity, brick by tiny brick, of someone who follows through. Months passed. Ahmed didn't suddenly wake up a genius, but the cumulative effect of those small daily choices began to show. His classmates and even his teachers started noticing. He could answer more and more complex questions in class. His body looked noticeably stronger and healthier. When he spoke, he was more articulate, and there was a new, calm conviction in his words. And one day, the moment of undeniable success arrived. He stood first in a school debate competition. Even his teachers, who had always known him as that average kid, were genuinely shocked. They asked him, "Ahmed, what did you do? How did you change so much so fast?" Ahmed didn't give them a dramatic answer about a magical secret technique. He just smiled, remembering his grandfather's words. He said, "I didn't change all at once. I just became 1% better every day." This, right here, is the hidden, often ignored truth of success. You don't need giant, earth-shattering leaps. You need tiny, sustainable steps. That 1% improvement daily may seem insignificant, but this is where the magic of compounding kicks in. Let's look at the math, because it's wild. Being 1% better every day means that in just 1 year, you'll be nearly 37 times better than when you started. That's not a typo. 37 times. Think about your own life for a minute. If you commit to reading just 10 pages a day, 10 pages, in 1 year, you will have finished 12 to 15 full books. You will be educating yourself at a rate higher than most people you know. If you save just $1 a day, in 1 year, you'll have built a rock-solid habit of saving, which is more important and stronger than people who are just sitting around waiting for a big income to start their savings plan. Success isn't about intensity, it's about consistency. Small, daily actions repeated over time create an unstoppable momentum. So if you're listening to this and you feel stuck, if you feel like you're just average, or if you're intimidated by the massive challenge of mastering a new skill, remember Ahmed's story. Don't try to change everything in one single day. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Instead, ask yourself this simple, powerful question. What is one small thing I can do today that will make me 1% better? Because greatness isn't built in a single heroic day. Greatness is built daily, one stroke at a time, one step at a time, 1% at a time. And when you finally look back, you'll realize that those tiny, almost boring steps created the giant, unbelievable leap you always dreamed of. Big success is nothing more than small, consistent improvements done again and again. Your 1% today is your 100% tomorrow. Welcome back. If you've been listening to Ahmed's story, you might be feeling that shift in perspective, that release of pressure. It's comforting to know you don't have to conquer Mount Everest on day one, right? You just need to take one step. But let's get specific. How do we take this powerful philosophy, this 1% principle, and apply it to the one area you're focused on right now? Becoming a better English speaker and listener. This is where many people get lost, because they look at the entire ocean of the English language and immediately feel overwhelmed. You feel like you need to listen to everything, read every book, and speak like a native podcast host today. That's the classic big action trap, and it leads straight to burnout. The power of habit stacking. The secret to making the 1% rule work is transforming it into an unbreakable habit. Remember, consistency is the foundation here, not intensity. We're not trying to find an extra hour in your already busy day. We're trying to integrate these small improvements into the life you already lead. The best way to do this is something psychologists and productivity experts call habit stacking. It's simple. You identify a current, strong habit you already do automatically, and then you stack your new 1% habit right on top of it. For example, think about your existing routine. Current habit? After I pour my first cup of coffee in the morning. 1% stack? I will listen to a 5-minute English news clip. Current habit? After I finish eating lunch, I will review the 5 new English words I learned yesterday. Current habit? Before I check social media at night, I will write 2 sentences in my English journal about my day. By tying the small new action to an established routine, you remove the need for willpower. The cue for the new habit is the completion of the old one. This isn't dramatic change. It's a subtle, almost mechanical integration of improvement into your day. You're simply leveraging your existing life structure to build your future self. And here's the key for language learners. Don't aim for the most difficult content at first. Your 1% goal should be as easy to do when you're tired. Because you will be tired, and that's when most people quit. But if your task is just 2 sentences or just one 5-minute podcast clip, you can always say, "Yes, I can do that." That's the power of the small commitment. Now, let's talk about a technical term that's absolutely vital for successful learning and content creation: the niche. In a business context, a niche is a specialized segment of a market. For you, as an English learner, your niche is the specific, focused area of English language and content that you are going to master first. Why is this important? Because trying to master general English is like trying to boil the ocean. It's too vast. It offers no point of focus for your 1% improvements. Think about it. The vocabulary used in a financial newspaper is wildly different from the vocabulary used in a medical drama. The slang you hear in a sports podcast is totally unlike the formal tone of an academic lecture. If you jump between these areas, you feel like you're constantly starting over. You feel inconsistent. But if you choose a niche, your 1% improvements start compounding faster and deeper. Maybe your professional goal is to work in IT. Your niche could be technical and business English related to software development. Now, your daily 1% improvement isn't just learn 5 new words. It becomes learn 5 new IT-related words. Your listening practice isn't just listen to any random thing. It becomes listen to a 10-minute podcast on the latest tech trends. By focusing your energy into a tight niche, you start hearing the same terminology, the same phrasing, and the same language structure again and again. You build a deep, contextual understanding that accelerates your fluency within that field. This focused, consistent exposure is what experts call deliberate practice, and it beats scattered general effort every single time. How do you find your niche? Ask yourself these 3 questions. What do I already love doing in my native language? Is it cooking, gaming, history, finance? What English content do I find genuinely interesting? Which channels do you watch? Which topics hold your attention? And what are your long-term goals? Do you need English for travel, for a specific job, or for academic study? The intersection of those answers is your perfect niche. Start making your 1% daily steps relevant to that specific area. It instantly makes practice more enjoyable, more relevant, and dramatically more effective. The myth of the plateau and the dip. Now, I have to warn you about a psychological trap that catches almost everyone who starts with this method: the plateau. When you first start with your 1% changes, especially in the first week or two, you feel great. You're motivated. You're studying 15 minutes a day, doing your 5 push-ups, and learning your new words. The novelty fuels you. But eventually, you hit a point where you're still doing the work. You're still putting in the 1% effort, but you don't feel like you're improving. You might feel stuck. Your study time goes from 15 minutes to 2 hours, but then it stays at 2 hours for weeks. You feel like you've hit a wall. This is the plateau, and it's completely normal. Most people quit here. They look at their work and think, "This isn't working anymore. It's too slow. I need a new, bigger plan." They give up the consistency for a quick burst of intensity, which, as we know from Ahmed's story, leads to failure. What you must realize is that this plateau is an illusion. You are still improving, but the nature of compound growth means that big improvements often happen after a long period of what feels like no progress. Think about melting ice. You take a block of ice from -10 degrees Celsius to -5. You don't see any change. You take it to -1 degree, still no change. But all those degrees of temperature gain are being stored, building up potential. The moment you hit 0 degrees, the ice instantly and dramatically transforms into water. Your learning is the same way. The days where you push through the boredom, where you still do your 1%, even though you feel stuck, those are the days you are building the hidden potential. You are building the temperature. So when you hit the plateau, when you feel the dip in motivation, just remember 2 words: trust the process. Keep your 1% commitment. Keep stacking your habits. Your breakthrough moment is waiting just past the point where most people give up. It's about having faith that your current small action, the one you're doing right now, is laying the necessary foundation for the giant leap that will appear months from now, seemingly out of nowhere. It won't be out of nowhere, though. It will be the result of every single 1% step you consistently took when no one, not even you, was watching the progress. In part 2, we talked about building the architecture of habit. Tying your 1% goal to an existing routine and the crucial need to define your niche so your efforts compound specifically and quickly. We also explored the deceiving nature of the plateau, that moment where it feels like nothing is happening, even though the potential for a breakthrough is building underneath the surface. Now, let's look at the ultimate result of this kind of consistent work: the confidence cycle and the creation of unstoppable momentum. The lie of motivation. Most people approach change backward. They wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They think, when I feel inspired, then I will study for an hour. Or, when I see a huge result, then I'll stick to my plan. But that's a trap, because motivation is fleeting. It's a feeling, and feelings come and go. The 1% rule flips this script entirely. It proves that action creates motivation, not the other way around. Think back to Ahmed. When he first started with 15 minutes of study and 5 push-ups, he wasn't motivated, he was doubtful. He was remembering all his previous failures. But he did the work anyway. What happened next? 1. Tiny action. He did 5 push-ups. 2. Immediate proof. He finished the task. He didn't quit. 3. Confidence boost. His brain registered a small, quiet win. It said, "I said I was going to do this, and I did it." 4. Desire for more. That small win created a tiny surge of positive feeling, making it slightly easier to do 6 push-ups the next day. This is the confidence cycle. Success is not the result of confidence. Confidence is the result of successful action. When you consistently hit your small 1% targets, when you successfully listen to that 5-minute English clip every day, when you successfully write those 2 sentences, you are proving to yourself over and over that you are a person who follows through. That self-trust is the true fuel of long-term success. It's what gives your momentum that truly unstoppable quality. You're not just learning English, you are literally training your brain to believe in your own power. Your 1% toolkit, dealing with failure. Now, let's be honest. Even with the 1% rule, you are going to have bad days. Life happens. You'll get sick, you'll travel, or you'll just be too exhausted to even manage those 2 sentences or that 5-minute clip. This is the point where the average person says, "Well, I missed a day, the streak is broken, I failed. I might as well quit until next month." But here is a fundamental concept that defines success in the long run. Never miss twice. If you miss your 1% commitment today, it is not a sign of failure. It's a sign that you are human. A single missed day is just a slip-up. It doesn't break your momentum. It doesn't undo the weeks of progress you've made. A second missed day, however, starts a new negative habit pattern. It reinforces the idea that you are the type of person who gives up. So, when life interferes and you miss your goal, your single, non-negotiable 1% goal for the next day is simply this: get back on track. Even if your normal study routine is now 2 hours, if you feel terrible, just do 5 minutes. Just learn 1 word. The purpose of that small effort isn't about the result for that day. It's about reestablishing your identity as someone who is committed to the process. It's about maintaining the self-trust you've worked so hard to build. This strategy ensures that your small failures remain just minor hiccups rather than spiraling into total collapse. Beyond the giant leap, defining your success. Ahmed's story is powerful because it reveals that the biggest life changes are often the quietest. When he won the debate competition, it looked like a giant leap to everyone else. But he knew it was just the visible result of hundreds of tiny, quiet, boring improvements. This is the difference between setting a goal and setting a system. A goal setter might say, "My goal is to be fluent in English in 1 year." A system builder would say, "My system is to successfully complete my 1% habit stack after my morning coffee every day." A goal is a destination. A system is the vehicle that gets you there. Successful people fall in love with the system, not the destination. They fall in love with the daily process. As a creator of these long-form podcast stories, I want you to adopt that mindset. Don't worry about being fluent or perfect. Don't even worry about your final score. Just fall in love with the act of listening to this podcast for your specific, focused period of time. Fall in love with the 5 minutes of reading. Fall in love with the 2 sentences you write. Because when you consistently execute your system, the results become inevitable. The massive, life-changing results like speaking confidently to a native speaker, getting that new job, or simply understanding a complex topic without subtitles will simply become a side effect of your unstoppable momentum. The final call to action. Everyone starts with the same 24 hours. The only difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who don't is the tiny daily margin of effort. Today, right now, as you finish listening to this story, don't rush out and try to overhaul your life. Don't try to become 100% better. That's the old failing way. Instead, ask yourself that one crucial, simple question. What is the 1% improvement I can commit to right now? That is so easy, I cannot possibly fail. Is it finding your English niche? Is it scheduling a 10-minute listening session? Is it reviewing 3 new vocabulary words? Pick that small thing, stack it onto an existing habit, and then do it. Because greatness is not built in a day, it is built daily. One stroke at a time, one step at a time, 1% at a time. And your 1% today, that is your new life tomorrow.